of South Africa's biggest musician, Makhadzi, just came out to publicly state that she is a member or a proud, interesting one, a proud member of the ZCC Church as we actually know them. ZCC Church, very popularly known group of people that actually follow the leadership of Barnabas Lekhanyani. This is the man right here, and all of them obligated to wear the badge. You will see it over their chest. That particular symbol has been very popularly seen or known to be their version of thing. Now, when you speak about ZCC, you can't speak about ZCC without addressing the whole viewpoint that they have over the badge. Now, I'm going to play you the video where she says it, and then I want to ask, are you aware of what she is talking about? There's something she says here that I've heard even Sangoma saying. Now, the question I'm asking is, are you aware? What are we talking about? This episode is going to have a part 2 describing that aware part that I'm actually talking about out of this video. Without feathers, I do. It's the Reality Show, the Daily Christian Commentary videos. If it's the first time over here, do be sure to check out the other videos that are down in the pinned comment, and I'm going to check you out over there. So, what did Makhadzi say? This is the video.
Me that people didn't know it's I'm a ZCC member. Ngoana wa Lekhanyane, Ngoana Siong, thabeng ya Siong ya mama.
Ngoana metsi,
Ngoana metsi, Ngoana kgomo, ke Ngoana kgomo thabeng tsa Sione ko ha mama bula kwa. Mama pastor. Yes. Ke bona ke Ngoana kgomo. Ke Ngoana wa Siong.
And then she goes to explain like when she was a member and all that. Okay.
So that's one thing they don't know. I do go to church, but I attend ZCC. I'm a ZCC member. I grew up in a ZCC church. I used to be a Sunday school lady. They knew that if I'm not there, there's no Sunday school, you know? I was that kind of girl. I was chorus lady. I used to sing each and every part in a choir.
You know, even the lady in the back,
bass.
she says, yo, choir lead and so forth. And then she backs it up. Now, I'll leave the video down in the description below. You can go watch the video over there. But what I wanted to highlight here on this video, she said something that
Soprano, alt, not
I've heard even
about
Sangomas saying this point
they
here.
don't know it's I'm a ZCC member.
Okay.
Ngoana wa Lekhanyane, Ngoana wa Siong.
Now, Ngoana Lekhanyane, that's a very, you have your own parents, you know, this whole spiritual parents thing, spiritual fatherhooding, you know, you see where it comes from. It's an old thing. Now, here she says, Ngoana Lekhanyane, and so, and then,
Thing about me that people they don't know it's I'm a ZCC member. Ngoana wa Lekhanyane, Ngoana wa Siong, thabeng ya Siong ya mama.
Ngoana metsi, Ngoana
metsi, Ngoana kgomo.
So she's a child of the cow. The friend brings in the cow and the water and she affirms it. It's something I've heard ZCC people mentioning and so forth. And so this teaching of Ngoana metsi, because you've heard it said by Sangomas a lot. What is that all about? It's a kind way. Where does this thing come from? So may I present to you, where do they get this thing? Now remember I mentioned that the leader of the church is Bishop Barnabas Lekhanyani, right? So in this church, they all wear the badge and they stamp their feet into the ground. Remember, Ngoana home. So there is an animal aspect or relation. But we know Homu, they mean the clan name of thingy. When we go to church, it's not about clan name. I have nothing to do with your clan name. Your clan name is your business. So why would I be claiming myself to be of another clan it doesn't make sense. But it does make sense once you start thinking about these points here. Remember the badge that ZCC people wear. It's a star. It's a star with a circle around it. And so that has actually close association with the cults. Why? Because in the cults, when they are invoking protection, because remember, in ZCC, you wear the badge for protection. And so in the cults, the circle and the star that you see there, it's actually a symbol that you use to invoke for protection. Now, I've made a video about this and I explained. The only question is, what did you invoke for you to be creating an area or a hedge of protection? Because remember, that whole circle, you call a spirit into the circle, and the circle provides protection from spirits outside that circle. So what did you invoke? I've asked this question before. Into the circle to use that symbol as protection. ZCC people won't answer that. They know how to swear. They know how to. They will never answer that one. What did you invoke into the circle? Now, why do I ask why did they invoke? What did you invoke? Because that's what the circle and the star is. It's called a pentagram. But I want to get into the second aspect of that video. Ngoana metsi. What is the relationship with taba ya sioni, taba ya mamabulo, and water? What's the relationship here? Now, until you actually realize, this thing is not how Christians talk. It's how cults talk. By cults, I'm not talking about churches where your pastor is brainwashing you. No, I'm talking about a church that has a sacred worship, two-parting doctrine. A doctrine that is for the goem, the average person. That's how they call us. They call you goem. If you are an average person who's not an initiate. They have a doctrine for the goem, then they have a doctrine for the sacred masses, that group of the inner circle. Now, I will have to partition this video into part 2. So, cut 3, there will be another episode getting deeper into that part, because I've talked about it before, but we have not extended it. It's time we extend it. So, Makhadzi says she is Ngoana metsi. Now, what is this metsi stuff? I want to show you something. There is mythologies around spirits, okay? And this particular mythology is from the European areas where we know ZCC got its uniforms. The uniform of thingy. It looks pretty much like France's thingy. But anyways, we're not talking about that. Now, in the mythologies of thingy, remember the mythologies are mostly based on the real demonic figure. There is a being called Melissan. I don't know how you say that. She's a spirit being harbored under a river, in a river of fresh water. But the water will be seen as sacred water. So you can see here it puts it like this. It says that a female spirit of the fresh water in a holy well or a river. It is depicted as a woman, a serpent with a fish waist down, popularly known as a mermaid. Now we are clear here. There's a serpent figure, others know it as Nkanyamba. So when people say that Baba naba metsi Nkanyamba, the serpent spirit of the water. Now, this memulus, that thing, you would have heard Sangomas confirming it, it's there, what, and all that. Yeah, they've seen it and maybe they've done whatever, or ritual themselves into that. So for ZCC people who claim to be Christians, to be saying Lebanava metsi, what are you saying? But then on top of that, okay, if you go into that particular spirit being, mimulus. If you actually research it any further, you will find out that this particular mimulus, it's the worshippers used to do so to a large figure statue. Okay? But it's not just the statue, located in caves beneath the mountains which she inhabits. Key point, mountain where she inhabits. So you will see these churches which are cultish, they tend to roam in an area of a river or in area of a mountain. In this particular figure here, you can see metsi. You can see how the worshippers of this being used to worship her. They worshipped her under the caves, under a mountain. Going further, a little step further, if you actually go back into even the Oxford reference thingy, actually puts it forward like this, okay? Speaking of mountain cults that harbor themselves around the mountain, it says that the worshippers, okay, the third line down there, it says that the sanctuary could include a temple on the top of this mountain. It could include a temple, okay, or they could be kind of like based around the particular mountain. Might be a simple cave. The worshippers were mainly shepherds, depicted as follows. Now remember that point there. They were shepherds. So there's an aspect. You remember that animal? Okay, we've touched on it. We've touched on it. Ne? All right. So go back there. Right? The deities were mostly worshipped, like Zeus and Hermes. You remember we once spoke about Hermes. We spoke about Apollos. We spoke about the great shepherd, as you might actually call them. We spoke about the great herdsmen. And you'll remember, they refer themselves as followers of Homu. Now we are following the cow. And so here you are hearing there is a shepherd aspect to it. But this particular shepherds do so at a mountain. Certain types of myth have a connection with mountains. Second line from the bottom. With mountains, such as the myth of the birth of the gods, the mountain solitude, and the presence of the deities of nature in the form of Tararamtata. It names all these things and would give the young gods a Tararatata. It goes on. So basically what I wanted to show you with that is that the idea of mountain gods or Banaba metsi being worshipping at a mountain, it's not a new thing. She's there. So on the second one, I want to talk about these beings that we are talking about here, because we are now talking about a particular type of beings here. We're not talking Nephilims here. We're talking about beings that sought worship from the beginning of time. They have configured themselves within mythologies, and the mythologies, a lot of them hold path towards understanding what demonic beings you are seeing in many churches, what you are seeing in many areas of cults and worship spaces. Some people disguise themselves as traditional. Little do you know, they are not traditional. That is the cult under which they can disguise by doing ritual blood worship. It allows them to disguise. It's spirit beings that are being worshipped. Notice the pattern. The worshippers were seen as people that did so with relation to the mountain. It says the mountain solitude and the presence of these divinities of nature in the form of, it says would give the young gods, and I like the particular section where it says the divine herdsmen and hunters of small games. Certain types of mythologies have connection with mountains. It's not a new thing. They harbor themselves around that particular area. And so, metsi. Why? Because the worship of this mermaid in Kanyam was at the mountains. Now, there was a testimony, a very old testimony. You guys will remember. That guy said he was invited under the mountain. We don't know. He was invited under a mountain and all of that kind of jazz. As we don't know it, we have never been there. Not like they're gonna invite us. Leave us out of your things. Spirituality show, daily Christian commentary videos. If it's the first time over here, do be sure to check out the other videos that are down in the pinned comments, and I'm gonna check you out over there. Next time when a person says Baba Nava Metsi, Banava Metsi, worship at the heights, worship at the hills, should raise a red flag, because that's where the birth of this particular Inkanyamba spirit is from. Worshipped at the mountain. Very fascinating, I thought. It's Ricky. The second episode, I'll delve a little bit more into that. Out into the thing. It's Ricky. Y'all have a good one. Salute.